This is News Tonight.
Good evening, I'm Jill Newbronner. Here are tonight's top stories. Singapore to start moving on a planned GST hike as the economy recovers from COVID-19. PM Lee says there will be help for lower-income households. Singaporeans gather in the heartlands and at Marina Bay to celebrate the arrival of 2022 with hope for a better year ahead. More pregnant women in Singapore are getting COVID-19 vaccinations. Hear from a survivor who made it back from the brink. Well, Singapore will start moving on increasing its goods and services tax in next year's government budget as it emerges from COVID-19. In his New Year message, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong says the GST hike will mean reliable and sufficient funds for expanding the healthcare system and support schemes for the elderly. At the same time, he is urging unity as it faces more challenges as a country together in the coming year.
2021 was another year living with COVID-19. But with Singapore's GDP set to grow between 3 and 5% and borders reopening again in 2022, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong is calling it a year of transition. And as the economy emerges from the pandemic, he says it's time to start moving on a proposed goods and services tax hike in the upcoming budget. He adds that the broad-based tax will mean reliable and adequate revenues for social programs like healthcare and support for older Singaporeans. He says that while those who are better off should contribute a large share, everyone needs to shoulder at least a small part of the burden. Budget 2022 will therefore lay what he calls the basis for sound and sustainable government finances for the next stage of Singapore's development. The hike from 7% to 9% was previously announced in 2018 and previously delayed to sometime between 2022 and 2025 in light of the pandemic. Over the last 2 years, nearly $50 billion of reserves were drawn down to dole out support packages to save jobs and livelihoods.